Hello and welcome to our annual Christmas bonus episode of Still Watching the Skies. I'm Robert Reinecke.
I'm Nat Almarell.
I'm Cody Lang.
This episode, we're joined by Jim Laczkowski and, of course, Angela Fabbrini, who have been on this Christmas episode, Secret Santa episode, since the beginning.
Wow. Ho, ho, ho.
Happy holidays.
We're over a decade in.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great though. Like I look forward to this, and even though we've got some interesting picks this year,
I want to say dark and disturbing.
well, we'll get into it, but I'm always happy to get together with you guys.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Happy to be back for a yearly tradition where we watch a bunch of completely random stuff.
Mhm. Boy,
Yes.
is
Yes, and I'll bring it up. We're taking a break from our usual format of under-discussed science fiction movies to give you a bonus episode for the, what is it, 11th year running? We're doing our variation on a Secret Santa party.
I think this is just a 10th because we didn't do one our first year.
Oh,
Oh.
that's embarrassing.
I'll have to take a look at the count. I think it's 11, but, it could be 10. I'm pretty sure it's 11, though.
I think it is. I thought last year was 10, but
But
maybe
we
I'm-
started in 2014, and Christmas of 2014 we did the Albanian Christmas, which was red or blue, white, and black Christmas.
Hmm.
And then I believe we
10th or
began.
11th.
What's that?
It's been at least a decade.
Okay.
Anyhow, through a blind draw of name and intermediary, each of us received an anonymous gift of a film to watch and discuss from someone else on this podcast. We all know who received the gift in the film, but no one, not even me, knows who gave what to whom. We'll discuss the films at the end of the show. We'll try to guess who the Secret Santa was for each gift. So we got 5 films here from 1933 to 1999. Angela, you lead us off because you have the first film. So what are we watching, and tell us about it?
Well, first of all, I want to say a big thank you to Sarah, who is our coordinator for this episode, who gets us our films and our names, and we couldn't do it without her. So much thanks to her. So I want to say that first. The film I was gifted this year, pleasantly surprised, was Mae West's She Done Him Wrong with Cary Grant, directed by Lowell Sherman. 1933 film, Mae West in all her glory.
Yes.
Doing a little bit of back read. Apparently, this was actually a Broadway play, Diamond Lil, that was then adapted for the screen. It's gorgeous. It's everything you want in a Mae West film. There's so many sequins. And of course, her famous line,
Why don't you come over and see me sometime?
yeah, Jim did
Mae
it.
West, not Edward G. Robinson, Jim.
Oh, same thing.
And the film was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Picture. So it's set in New York City in the 1890s, excuse me. And May, or Lady Lou as she is in the film, works at like a nightclub sort of situation, bar room, saloon, and she's dated a lot of people in the film. Everybody knows her. Everybody would do anything that she ever asked them to do. And she doesn't she has a boyfriend who keeps her plied with, all of the beautiful things that she has, which is I love watching and seeing the set for her is gorgeous. She doesn't really know what he does, which is he is kind of into human trafficking, and he runs a little bit of a counterfeit ring to help him sort of keep her in um,
Diamond.
her finery. um, And he brings in, I guess, reading through some of like the reviews, they're supposed to be Russian. I had a really hard time placing where they were supposed to be from other than like somewhere else. I was like, is it South America? I don't know. Apparently it's supposed to be Russians come in to help him with his counterfeit ring. She has an ex-boyfriend who's in jail. And another rival of her boyfriend's like kind of is trying to drop hints to her that there's something going on. There's a lot of subplots. Lou sort of leads everybody on, and everyone sort of thinks that they have a chance with her, which is kind of great. And she's really just out for herself.
I think everybody does have a chance with her.
Yeah,
I don't think she leads anyone on. They all just delude themselves. She just stands there. Yeah.
I think that's a totally fair read of the situation. Yeah,
she describes herself. She's the finest woman ever to walk the streets.
Yep. She yeah, I love that. And a city mission opens up next door where yet another suitor sort of presents himself. He's like, he runs the mission. He's kind of there to like hopefully help people sort of like do better. And he kind of takes an interest in her, kind of starts showing up suspiciously.
Like Cary Grant.
Yes, a young Cary Grant, which, yeah, amazing. All of these plot lines start to converge when she accidentally gets in an argument with the Russian, one of the Russians, over her partner, who took an interest in Blue and accidentally kills. And
Give the bitch.
Yeah. And things kind of escalate. Her ex-boyfriend who's in jail breaks out of jail and shows up and wants her to run away. And also the police are sort of like closing in on her current boyfriend who's been counterfeiting and trafficking people. And everything sort of comes to a head. I know I'm probably forgetting things, but there's a lot going on. Turns out that Cary Grant's character is actually an infamous police officer, the Falcon, who's been like undercover to try to find out what Gus has been up to. And there's a big bust at the end, and he comes in and he's going to take everybody away. And you think that Lou is going to be taken away, but it turns out that the Falcon actually says she doesn't belong in jail and puts an engagement ring on her finger, and they take off in a carriage, and that's the end of the movie. And it was entertaining, and it was interesting to watch, and I really liked my present this year.
Aww.
It's probably not the best summation of the movie, but
no, it's pretty good.
I thought it was terrific.
There's a lot of detail that probably doesn't need to be gone into, but yeah, like this is just like quintessential classic filmmaking. And you can just imagine being in a theater and being so excited to be watching it and thinking how glamorous it would seem, and Mae West in all her glory. Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Jim, what did you think?
It was pretty good.
Pretty good, says Jim.
Pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I want to keep this conversation classy, but you know, for a
Love it.
movie from the early 1930s, this features quite the amount of cleavage.
Cleavage and like entendre and
Yeah.
like, I mean, I was shocked. Like, I was like, oh,
I know
um,
it's kind of a horny movie.
yeah, and I'm here
Yeah.
for it.
I was mostly. I think probably because how can you not want more Cary Grant? I know this is only his second acting performance ever, but
Wow.
yeah, I mean, once he shows up, I'm just like, oh, please bring that screwball comedy magic, that fast clip that he does so well. But I know this is the Mae West show, and I get it. And plus, he was new onto the scene at the time. But just because we have grown to love Cary Grant over the years, just seeing him showing up and not having as much, I don't know. I had a little bit of a frowny face for that. But other than that, I mean, really, it's interesting to watch one of those pre-code movies and kind of have it focused on this like incredibly unique persona in terms of looks and personality and even just the way she talks and delivers like we said, double entendres and some of these incredible songs that she performs too. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know, I didn't think it was like an amazing work of art that I would, rush out and tell everybody, you got to see this. This is a classic. It's got everything you want because it is kind of overstuffed with stuff overall, and like the static camera kind of makes this feel like it would be a great play. Like it feels like it's stage bound more than anything. But
Yeah.
I mean, again, like Mae West persona carrying this, that is the main reason to watch it. So for that alone, I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad I've seen it. I don't know if it's something that I will go back to time and time again, but certainly once she says that line, I was like, oh, so that's where that comes from.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, it was good. I'm glad that this was chosen for sure. But I've seen better from this era though. Let's go to Cody. I want to know what Cody thinks.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't find it that pre-code. Like I didn't find it that racy. Um,
Mm.
but maybe I was just missing it. Like I didn't even find there's a lot of double entendres. I thought they were just being very, like they're just being very blunt and suggestive, or like not that suggestive. Like they're being very direct about it. Um, it seems to work better as I've never seen the stage play, but if I would have seen it, I think it would work better as that. Like there's all these musical interludes
Hmm.
that keep interrupting the like the hijinks between the people. I thought Cary Grant was a bit miscast. Um, but again, he's not doing much either. Um, and I'm trying to think if I've seen a Mae West film before. I don't know if I have, but I don't find her that fun to watch. Like she kind of comes off as like Rodney Dangerfield or something. Like she's like all of her one-liners like they kind of pause and wait. And it's like what are you waiting for? Like there's no I don't know. Like I found the cadence of the way she delivered her lines a bit weird.
Yeah, she delivers them the same pretty much every time. So there's not a lot of
Yeah.
variation.
Although I did like when her like crazy ex-boyfriend comes from jail, I thought that kind of made things a bit more interesting. And then when they were doing like one of the final performances where I can't remember what she was trying to do. Like she's trying to either get someone killed or set up a trap or something, but I liked how they kind of framed that. So you see her point of view on the stage while everyone's listening to her, and then she's kind of
Hmm.
gesturing. I thought that was a cool part. Um, and I don't know if like I think it was highly telegraphed that Cary Grant was the cop.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I just
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I just think like it's not because the film like made any
It's
hints.
becoming a
It's just like how could he not be
Yeah.
How could he not be the cop? Yeah. Um, so yeah, but I haven't seen a lot of like what are considered pre-code films, like unless you just consider like silent films pre-code. But I think like the one that comes to mind is like Scarface, I guess. And
Yeah, Scarface
and and I thought that was, you know, really good, but that's sort of like a standout film. Like I don't know if I've seen a lot of these like so-called pre-code films where things were more like racy or
Yeah.
so-called racy, I guess. But I
I
didn't really find there's like I never really felt like Hollywood stopped doing that. Like I felt like film noirs were pretty um you know, they were really coded and so were melodramas. Like I don't know if this stuff ever went away. Maybe there's not as much cleavage, but um but yeah, it was okay. I'm not that familiar with Mae West though as a performer. So I can't really speak if it's like a good or a bad performance for her.
well, I think she is just playing Mae West.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
hard to say that she's actually acting per se. It's like, here I am, deal with me. I feel like that's her attitude. Um, I don't know. I think I'll jump in here. I mean, um, I like this film. I don't love this film, but I like this film, and I think it's interesting. And I'm kind of fascinated by, even if you listen to my other podcast, I'm fascinated by censorship and code and how you get around it or don't get around it, and what you can do with the rules are with the censorship on and censorship off. This is definitely, I feel, an uncensored movie, although it's not necessarily the most uh, in your face movie you can get even from that time. There's no actual nudity in it unless you count a painting over the free lunch table of supposedly of Mae West, supposedly. Um, but I mean, it's not that. But I mean, it's full of these kind of sexual innuendo, which is maybe not even innuendo at times. Um, Mae West is certainly has a bunch of men at her beck and call. I think in that she goes visit her former lover in prison, and there's kind of like the joke that it seems like everybody in prison had been her boyfriend at one time or another, including a gay couple, I would say, which stood
Oh.
out to me as a joke for the time, maybe ahead of its time. I mean, May has an African American maid, which is seems to sass back to her, so that seems to be a fairly progressive idea, progressive regressive idea. I guess that the sassing back makes it progressive. Though obviously she's the one in charge, but I guess that was her idea to bring Louis Beavers on
Mhm.
site as the maid. So good for her. And I know this was a big hit at the time. It made like 2.2 million versus a $200,000 budget and saved Paramount. So Mae West is responsible for saving Paramount to some extent. Though she would be kind of labeled as box office poison a few years later once the code came into effect, and some of her movies didn't do so well. But this was a big hit at the time. Nominated for Best Picture, although have to say it's kind of a weak year. I think Cavalcade was the big winner that year. Um, the next year it was It Happened One Night, which is obviously a much better film.
Oh yeah.
And I don't feel that the direction is anything special. I would agree that with Cody that it's kind of like here's the stage play, we shot it, but I mean the camera barely moves. It moves a few times, I guess, but not very many. And there's not much flashy about it. It's just like here's Mae West. She's doing her stage show, and she's gonna be very frank and lewd and crude and in your face. And I guess the Rodney Dangerfield thing is kind of true, with kind of that heavy Brooklyn accent or a New York accent, anyhow. Um, she kind of feels to me like kind of a precursor of somebody like Harley Quinn in a way that she says her lines. Although obviously she's very much you're going to hear my lines. They're going to be loud and clear, and I'm going to project them to the back row because she is definitely a stage performer that's hit film, but she's like she's unlike most Hollywood actresses of the time. There's hardly anybody I think is comparable to her. She's kind of like a living parody of herself, and I think that's what makes her interesting. But overall, I enjoyed the film. I agree. Cary Grant has not much to do except for look ridiculously handsome. But I feel like that's a joke with Mae West, even on to her last film where Timothy Dalton was her love interest in that one. So she always she's not like a great looker, but she's okay. But she always has an incredibly handsome man hanging off of her. So I feel that's the joke. And I think she's aware of that joke. And I think that's what makes her interesting. So I like the film quite a bit. Maybe not one of the best movies. Well, maybe it was one of the best movies in 1933. But it is memorable and it has a lot to recommend it. With some other stuff, but yeah. Is that everybody that talked about this one?
No, we still have Nat.
Nat, what do you think?
Yeah, this is the second like solo Mae West movie I've seen because I think Criterion also had a collection of like pre-code movies, and I'm No Angel was in that. I think like Night Nurses was another one, and actually Cody got me thinking of like what qualifies as a pre-code film because I feel dirty thinking of like silent films as pre-code, even though I guess they technically would fit that. But I
That's
think of it
so
as
dirty, yeah.
yeah, exactly. But I would think of it as like being the films that probably led to some outrage, and that probably has to do more with like the sex aspect than the violence, although I'm sure violence had some degree of contribution to that. But anyway, no, I like it in the same sense of like there's not a lot of polish on this. Like we've already talked a little bit about the direction. I think Robert, you may have mentioned this too, that like it's the Mae West show, and it's kind of like when you watch an old Steven Seagal movie, like Under Siege, where he tells a joke and it's a really bad joke, or even regardless of the quality of the joke, like everybody around him just like laughs their asses off and then tells him how funny he is. And I feel like that's sort of the same way with Mae West here. Like no matter what she says, everybody is kind of there to talk about like either how sexy she is or how funny she is and whatnot. But I do like that character too. And it is just kind of fun watching her even when there's a lot of plot, but there's really not much else going on outside of what's immediately going on within Mae West Circle. And even other things like Cary Grant, I feel when in his first encounter, like his accent changes. So he goes from like being a little bit more British to start talking like Mae West. Like like I think this has been brought up before, but like Carrie Fisher, when she's with British actors, she starts speaking with the British accent, and Cary Grant kind of does something similar here. But
Yeah.
no, I like the character, and I just kind of like it's not even an archetype. I don't really know how many other people have sort of done this where she seems to really relish like slumming it or being somebody who comes from the streets or comes from like is working in brothels or whatnot, but just has an air of sophistication to her. Like she's bringing everything up to a certain level, even though she's hanging out with reprobates, and it's all kind of like matching wits, which tend to be like stacked in her favor. But I like that perspective, and it's fun to appreciate now. But I'm sure it like had even more of a punch back then. And I think especially with her stage plays, where I think she actually did get arrested for indecency for I think at least sex, if not other some other plays that she did, and just turn those into like marketing opportunities, like the play that the NYPD doesn't want you to see. So I do like all that, and even for its flaws, it is just kind of fun to watch, like a W.C. Fields film, and maybe that's why she was paired with it as well. That like there's not much going on except you just kind of staring at this character doing their thing, and it's pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, I hear that she kind of hated working with W.C. Fields because she thought he wasn't handsome enough for her, or he kind of spoiled the joke that that the most handsome guys were golf wanted to be with Bay West.
Mm-hmm. But it's also like personalities that you don't really see anymore. And part of it too is just I think Mae West, I think she still is like way, way, way ahead of her time. And probably influenced a lot more that came after her. But anybody who's playing this sort of character after Mae West, or especially if they tried to do that something like that today, I feel they wouldn't have anywhere near the sense of humor that she has about those things. And Fields, like, I mean, his personal life may have been more of a tragedy, but I don't think we're ever going to see any character like Fields again. But hey, I mean, again, people knew how to just build a movie around that and not worry about anything else within the movie other than just making sure that the camera focuses on them and lets them do their thing.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like that. I get the sense that Mae West is uh, aware of her portrayal as being over the top, and she's part of the joke. And I think she
Right.
relishes that too. She loves being the center of attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I think she's got a level of self-awareness that brings you in on the joke. And I mean, I don't know if this exists, but it would be really interesting to see an audience reacting to that at that time, right? Of like it's almost like there's a wink and a nod after a lot of what she says.
Hmm.
And um yeah, I think it's really it's fun. Yeah.
Well, I like that nobody really changes. Like there's really no character arcs
No,
with
no,
any
there's
of
no art.
these.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like reveals or things kind of work
Yeah.
themselves out as you kind of know it's going to be. It's like, okay, well, we have to have some sort of finish, so let's pair her with this. It is weird that like the end of this is her getting married to Cary Grant, because it's like everything leading up to that is like, okay, well, she's probably been married before. She's certainly been in relationships before. Is there any indication that this is the one that would stick? Like, yay, they got together, but there's like nothing happens after that. Like there can't be a way to continue the story after that because inevitably she would drop him like a bad habit.
Yeah, I mean, she kills a woman and suffers no consequences whatsoever.
Yep. Yeah, and even like tries to hide it. That's the other weird thing too, is that like so in the Wikipedia and other reviews of this, like they make a point of calling out like the prostitution ring and human trafficking and all that. I feel like that's really downplayed, at least in comparison to the counterfeiting. Like
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that,
that's true.
and I wonder, like, is that it's weird, like why include that? Is it just she wants to have her character sort of be in a bordello or be somewhat like associated with that? Or is it something where like, counterfeiting, that's not so bad that we can give a death sentence to was it Gus?
Hmm.
So let's make him, traffic and prostitution too. But again, if that's the case, then they really aren't going out of their way to highlight that.
I've
Like,
kind of understand that part of that was the censors at the time. I mean, the Hays Code wasn't in effect, but they were still pressure applied, and they were kind of softening some parts of it
mhm.
to please the moral authorities of the time, while not censoring too much of it.
But then why even include it in the first place? And like it's not like, his ring is broken up or anything like that at the end of the film. It's just
I'd like to see a production of the play this was based on to see what stuck and what was changed.
I mean, I love that it's 66 minutes. But
yeah, more movies should be that short.
I agree.
You know, but it's also overstuffed. Like I said, I think there's too much plot to where.
I mean, the only real reveal is that Mae West's character Diamond Lil actually does have a soul.
Well, and
that's
Cary Grant is the Hawk.
Yeah. And that's about it.
Which I think they refer to the Hawk like at the very beginning, and then do they ever refer to him at all throughout the movie except at the very end where he reveals himself? Okay.
It's like once. It's like it's like once.
And
there's a cop looking for working the case against her, against them, the Hawk. That's revealed fairly early on, and then at the end, I'm the Hawk.
Yeah.
Was it the Hawk or the Falcon?
I think
it was the Hawk.
Oh, okay.
But potato.
Sure.
It's also weird that like in a movie that's 66 minutes long, even for the 30s, there's like at least 3 musical numbers that probably take up like maybe 2/5 of that 66 minutes.
So I do like the 3 musical numbers.
Yeah, Frankie and Johnny, pretty cool. I really like that. And it's sort of staged during the climactic scene. Yeah.
She likes a man that takes his time.
Don't we all?
Let's see. I also like how Chick talks through his teeth in every line delivery. It's like, oh my God. It's like, little pre-Buffalo Bill sort of thing going on with him.
I do have the list of films that are up for Best Picture in 1933.
Let's hear it.
The winner was Cavalcade from Fox, which I've never seen, but I hear it's not too good. Another Paramount film was a nominee, A Farewell to Arms, which I hear is good.
Oh, wow.
It is really good,
yeah. 42nd Street from Warner Brothers was up. It's a Busby Berkeley musical, so
yeah,
I'm sure that's good. Also from Warner Brothers, I Am a Fugitive from a Chain Gang. We had Lady for a Day from Columbia, Little Women from RKO.
How many goddamn movies did they have up for Best Picture?
I think like 10.
Jeez.
Oh, that's right.
The Private Life of Henry VIII from London Films. I'm not sure who London is. Smiling Through from MGM. State Fair from Fox, and She Done 'Em Wrong from Paramount. 1, 2, 3. Not a great selection, and I certainly would recommend the 2 Warner Brothers films over Cavalcade, but I think generally speaking, Cavalcade is regarded as one of the weaker Best Picture winners.
I'm still kind of surprised that this is nominated for Best Picture. Like, I mean, I know it's the 30s, but yeah, it is based on a play. It is super short. There's not a huge amount of sophistication to it. Like, I feel like this is, and I think a lot of her plays were off Broadway, like, and maybe off Broadway. Like, it's something that is very distinctly just, the work of this one person for this one person to showcase this one person. Like, as much as you can get to like an indie vibe for a 1930s film, I feel like this is sort of it.
I mean, I kind
a star.
Agree. Yeah. She wasn't even nominated for writing, but they only had 3 nominees, so. Yeah, I think Best Picture was his only nomination too. Which is not so surprising, I guess. But 10 nominees for Best Picture and only like 3 for writing and 3 for acting.
Yeah, I wonder how many they're going to have this year. It's always like, you just don't know. Like sometimes they've just done 9, and I'm like, well, why can't you just go with 10?
I think they decided just to go with 10 from now on. Which is, they're going to have a tough time coming up with 10 good nominees, I think, unless you're going to go with a bunch of foreign films. But what do I know?
I got to seek out the cartoon parody of this story and film called She Done Him Right with Pooch the Pup,
Oh,
a sexy cartoon dog.
I feel,
Plays the Mae West role. So.
I feel like Mae West was parodied quite a bit in the Warner Brothers Looney Tune cartoons.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
I think Disney even parodied Mae West, like in some of their cartoons.
Yeah, that's probably where I've heard that line before. It must have been in a cartoon.
Because I think Who Killed Cock Robin? I think that's a Disney short, and there's a Mae West parody in that. But
well, she's very easy to parody, though. I feel like she is playing a parody in herself.
Mm-hmm. And it may even be a parrot in that short. But no, I
think we're kind of hitting the bottom of the barrel there.
I think so. Before we do any more wrongs, then maybe Angela should try to guess, and then we move on.
Yeah. Oh, does she guess now, or we wait till the end?
Oh, do we wait till the end?
At the end. She should guess now.
Okay.
I'm guessing now. Is that what we decided?
Yep.
Okay. I think it was Nat.
And what would you compare it to?
I would compare it to some fun pajamas.
I like pajamas.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I do too.
Like some kind of like fun prints. Maybe there's like, some
Nice of flannel or satin?
No, I'm
Both.
thinking yeah, like something that's like comfortable but also like fun. Like I could wear them to like a pajama party.
Like velvet, and then they have like a little boa sewn into the back of the tops.
Like maybe trimmed with marabou, but like in a tasteful way,
Mm-hmm.
like button down, but like made fun is what I'm thinking. That I would be really happy to get. I'd be like, these are great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of fun,
you have the next one, Jim.
Yeah, no kidding, Jim. Take it away. Woof.
Barbette or Barbet? Is it Barbet Schroeder or Barbette Schroeder?
Barbet.
Barber. General ID Amin Dada. A self-portrait. Oh, a rather fascinating documentary. Okay, yeah. So this is this was filmed about a third of the way through his reign as dictator of Uganda from, I think it was a good 8 years in the 70s, and it was made at a time when the West just largely viewed him as a buffoon, but the violence he perpetuated was unreal. And so we open the film with the footage of an execution, and a voiceover tells us that he is responsible for the deaths of perhaps thousands of people. And well, as the title itself just really indicates, what we're going to witness is basically him presenting himself kind of raw and right in your face at times, and with money from, I believe, the French and some interesting people involved, including, like I said, Barbette Schroeder and his small crew. And they all flew to Uganda and just simply said, hey, can we just film you doing what you do? And of course, he was flattered and wanted the attention and was like excited to be treated like a celebrity. So for the next 2 weeks or so, Schroeder shot various events, and some of them I'd say staged, to say the least, to show him as this representative of post-colonial Africa. And just showcasing a lot of ignorant things and terrible things that he says and does, and just at the same time attempt to present himself as being someone who is worthy of our time and attention, and someone who basically can be charismatic because he happens to play the accordion, look at that, and he's having a good time with certain people and things like that. He's hanging out in the pool, and there's an attempt to humanize him, I guess, but as I alluded to in our group text earlier today, I kind of struggled to enjoy this in any way because yes, we are currently inundated with another ignorant, narcissistic dictator on a regular basis here in this country. And that did not make watching this particular guy from the past fun. It's like I was mostly just getting angry, as I think is intended. I think if you have empathy and compassion, you're likely to get angry at some of the things that he says and does. And then once you start doing more research, you start to go, oh God, wow. And even just like moments in this, when he's asked about Hitler and he starts laughing when he's confronted with like that question of, did you say that Hitler didn't kill enough people or something like that? Yeah. And oof. And I had a sneaking suspicion, like as I was watching this too, I'm guessing this is the same dictator that Forrest Whitaker portrayed in The Last King of Scotland, right? Yeah,
which I think is good casting.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, but yeah, I wouldn't say I was bored. I just kind of shrugged it off when it was over because I was like, all right, it's mostly just watching him be this selfish, controlling, egotistical egomaniac, and I think the film captured that quite well without kind of not really adding much to the conversation. It's just like a, kind of fly on the wall or just letting him talk into the camera throughout the film. Whereas like a movie like The Act of Killing much later on would kind of go on to examine like genocide and this level of evil in a way that I thought was more engaging as an art form, and challenges the audience to really think about some of the atrocities that have taken place there within that particular country and culture. But here, yeah, it was mostly straightforward with just, like I said, interviews and conversations and observations with a dictator who is mostly a dick. So it was good. I mean, again, I wasn't bored. I was mostly just like angry. And again, like that's probably par for the course, is kind of what I anticipated going into this too. But yeah, it's just heavy. Maybe it's watching this at the wrong time when we're kind of dealing with this regularly in our own lives here in this country. It's kind of hard to watch, and I'm kind of glad that I got this present, but I don't know if I'm going to go back to it anytime soon because I don't feel like getting angry again. So, but no, it was interesting. It was interesting to watch anyway. Let's throw it over to Nat.
All right. No, I love this documentary, and I've seen it maybe 3 or 4 times previously. And it's funny because like the comparison to Active Killing, I like Active Killing a lot too, but I feel this is going for something very different. And maybe it's a bit of a cheat because I think it's something where there is some outside knowledge that maybe one needs to have before coming into it, to understand like how bad of a person Idi Amin is. And it's difficult, for us now because I don't think he gets brought up that frequently. And if you look at if you do like research after this film and look up Idi Amin, for one thing, if you look up like a lot of the caricatures, especially just like general cartoons or political cartoons of this time, and probably later in his reign, which I'm always surprised with how short it was, but he always has like a frown or a grimace, just kind of like looks menacing. And that is not the portrayal that you get here.
No,
Like
not
there
at
are
all.
things where he comes off as like very jovial, like even outside of playing the accordion, just like I love when they're taking the boat down the Nile early in the film, and he's just like pointing out the animals, and he's like, "Watch me make that alligator move," and he just starts clapping and yelling at it, and it just doesn't even pay any attention to him, and then he like changes the subject. But it's fascinating to me because I think you can see behaviors or just like the way he speaks, the actions that he takes that can apply to, I mean, not even dictators, but like any sort of politician.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, I mean, just, regardless of like what political bent you take, he has such a ambiguous like neutral stance or ostensibly neutral stance in like so many things, maybe with the exception of Israel. Um,
Mm.
like when he talks about I have no policy, I take the best parts of capitalism, I take the best parts of socialism, and that's what guides us. Or like even that's what guides our policy, where he'll like contradict himself in each sentence. But I can also easily see like any politician in any country sort of saying something similar to that. And
Mm.
it just makes me it's so weird to like pin this guy down when he talks and try to get into his head of like what does he believe, and like I know he is putting something on for the camera, but does he know, even after you do the, say like look at all the atrocities he committed, does he actually think that he did these like for good or for evil? Like, did he know that this was wrong when he was doing it? Does he find a way to justify it? Like, does he just not care? And is this actually a sociopath, or is this somebody who's like, well, this is for the greater good, and maybe I'm not going to go too far out of my way to convince myself of it? And there's such an ambiguity and such a jovialness of this that is presented, and definitely he is planning so much of it for the camera. The documentary even says so.
Yeah.
But it's something where you don't quite empathize with him, but it presents like I think a way more detailed picture of the person than you would get. Like you can't dismiss him. Whereas if you're watching something that is just saying here are all the terrible things you did, it's very easy to just say, well, okay, this is just a bad person.
Yeah,
And
I was
it's just
expecting it to completely like just demonize him, but they choose not to do that.
they are, yeah, and it's way more for how many opportunities they probably have to do footnotes. It is surprising to me that they do so few. Like there's the thing with the
Mm.
foreign minister who's found dead later. They do call out when they have the helicopter landing that, he orchestrated this, like so many other things in this. Like they tell you that, but they don't do, I feel like, that many cheap shots or well, I mean, cheap shots for Idi Amin, but like there aren't as many instances where he'll say something and then it'll immediately cut to something that contradicts it. Like if it happens within that sequence, like when he says all my kids are happy, and then one of the kids is like crying in the background while that's happening, like okay, but that also is something that kind of comes up organically and not so much in the editing. And so it's just something where he's a bad guy going into it, and this is kind of like him attempting to convince you otherwise. And I like it for that. I like that it really does make you think of like what is going on in this person's mind. And like the cabinet meeting where he just is like talking and it makes no fucking sense what he is saying. Like I wrote down
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that's my favorite part in the movie
yeah,
is
he's like
is when
talking about
he's on
Ugandan women.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
he's
because
like,
there's a really funny part where he's talking for a long time and then he says, and now on to my second point. And I was
yeah,
like, what was your first point?
yes.
Like you just talked about like so many different topics right now
Yeah.
But he's
We
like,
with
yeah,
call that the
no,
weave now.
yeah, like he like just kind of speaks in like a stream of consciousness, and maybe he's doing it for the camera, but um, yeah, I found like anytime he was speaking at the camera or in some kind of meeting, I was enthralled.
mhm.
Just how much he could blabber.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, that was the highlight for me. I had no idea that Barbie Schroeder made documentaries in any way because I'm just familiar with him for doing Single White Female and Reversal of Fortune and Kiss of Death. But apparently, no, he even did a recent one too in 2007 called Terror's Advocate. That sounds a little similar to this, that I'd be curious to check out.
I think he was an actor as well too.
Oh,
Yeah, he was an actor in one of my favorite films called Celine and Julie Go Boating.
oh, right, yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's one of
Small
Sharon's my fiance's favorite films that I've yet to watch. So I gotta get on that.
Buckle up, it's long.
I know.
Yes, it is.
I'll go. So I've never seen it before. I do like I could see why someone would like the film. I found, and not that this would ever happen, but like if you were just to come out from watching this film without knowing anything about the context or the leader, like you might come away with a good impression of this guy. Now it's unlikely that anyone watching a documentary about a leader would just have no background on it. So thankfully there's that. I just find it to be a really bizarre documentary. I do think it's a good historical document for the time. I don't know how many other politicians you would have this much access to um, as like documentary films. So I think it's interesting for that. And to be able to capture this stuff from like a country where there was a lot going on, I think is also quite amazing. Um, But yeah, like it is a little hard to watch because you do like he is, I would say, a bit charismatic. So you do get kind of um like you do kind of follow along, but you're not really told about all the other things that are happening or that his regime has done. So it is, I do find it a bit deceptive that way, but really it's I don't know if the filmmakers I don't think they're trying to make him like it's not like a puff piece. They're just letting him talk. Um,
Let him
and I
hang
remember,
with his words.
sorry,
Letting him
sorry, go
hang
ahead.
up with his words is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like it kind of reminds me when I remember when Errol Morris released that one film, I think it was called it was called The Known Unknown or something. I can't remember which
Oh,
one
the
it
unknown
was.
known with the
Yeah,
Rumsfeld one.
where he just let this guy talk without really challenging him and like obviously it's a different type of film, but it's I do like it when documentary filmmakers or try to be a fly in the wall and just try to present the material um, without intruding as much. And but again, maybe Barbet Schroeder and maybe he did feel like this guy was a good leader. Like I'm not sure. Like I don't know much about Barbet Schroeder. Like I think Idi Amin was aligned with Soviet Union, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe at that time when like the left hadn't fully come to terms with like how bad the Soviet Union was, because I think now most people on the left would are like, are quick to criticize Soviet Union and what they did, but I think back then they were not so much like that.
I
So
think
maybe he did feel like this guy was doing a good job because he was anti-colonial, you know?
I do think two things. Like one, it is fairly early into Amin's reign because it comes out like first half of 74, so they were probably filming it like in 1973, and I think Amin comes to power in like 71 or so, and it's before I think he uh gets his like breaks diplomatic relations with Britain. I think before like some of the stuff comes out. I think also they had an agreement with him in terms of like what they could show or film and
Hmm.
cut from it. Um, and then there's like a whole other thing where there was one cut that was shown to Amin, and then another one that was released outside of Uganda.
Oh,
And
interesting. Yeah.
so I guess Amin asked Gaddafi to send people to watch the uh, the non-Ugandan cut, and so Amin read the transcript of what they presented and then asked Schroeder to make some additional cuts. He wouldn't do it, and so Amin held about 200 or so French citizens hostage.
Oh my God.
To demand, that they make the cuts. So he eventually, I guess he did make some of those cuts, but I believe it's been restored in versions today. But
Yeah.
I think part of it is just potentially it could be before they knew a lot of this stuff was going on, but then also I think just the deal that they had with Amin.
Yeah, like I know back then it's not like today where you can where you have reporters from all over the world. You have people with cell phone cameras, taking video and stuff. It's hard to get an idea back then about like what was going on in like another part of the world. So I get that. But yeah, knowing all the stuff that's happened, like I do find it a little uncomfortable. I'm not so like down on it like Jim, but I understand Jim's position for sure. And yeah, it's just a weird documentary. It is kind of fascinating, but it is a little uncomfortable as well.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's a weird, it's a perspective that you don't kind of get that much. Like, yeah, you, I think anyone now, like you said, seeking it out today would have to have like some background knowledge of Idi Amin, but also it's designed from the
Well,
perspective
yeah,
of
there's
like
no way
it's
someone would be like, "Oh, I think I'm just gonna watch this
yeah.
movie." There's like that would never happen. It's not like like some random documentary on Netflix or something.
But it's also something where the focus of it is intending to treat it as a puff piece, but the director is resisting that. Although they're held by, they're constrained by some of the conditions of actually having this person be the focus of it. So it is a strange perspective of like we have to be accommodating to our subject, but we are going to try to undermine him as much as we can, but also somehow presenting like somewhat of a neutral position. So just from like that, the different varying perspectives of like subject, director, editor, all that, it's also just interesting from the standpoint of like how do we present this? How do we present this picture?
Yeah. And Idi Amin is supplying a lot of production value to the film.
Some helicopters, armored vehicles, slides.
So jets, some army personnel,
Mm-hmm.
parades.
Well, what about you, Robert? What?
I mean, I feel like you can't pull this thing off again. I mean, you can, but you have to be a little bit more clever about it. Because I feel like today's leaders are a lot more media literate and know that these things can backfire on you. And I feel like the best part about it is that they kind of let the cameras roll and just capture Idi Amin spouting nonsense and contradicting himself and looking like a buffoon. Even with uh, the editor's notes basically inserted in to say, yeah, this is not really true. It's like they make their point without it. I mean, I kind of felt that this movie, what's it, hour 38, something like that. I found it was a little long because I felt like I got the point within, like the first 45 to 60 minutes. Just like, well, are you going to show me something new? Or are you just going to show me Idi Amin basically being a buffoon and a narcissist and an egotist? And I don't feel I got a whole lot more than that, or at least feel I got the point early. But I think the point is well made. And yeah, there's not really a climax or a end point to it. And maybe you can't do that just because it is like 2 years into Idi Amin's reign.
Mm.
So I mean it doesn't give you much to actually shape the story. It just kind of makes one point, and I think it's a well-made point, and it's it's an important point, but it is one point, and you have to make a whole movie out of it. I feel that it kind of it doesn't have a climax, doesn't really have an ending. It's just like, okay, here's Idi Amin, and yes, he's kind of an evil buffoon, and I mean, I feel that point is well made, as I said, but it is just there. It's kind of hard to shape the material into something that's not pretty obvious. But as I said, good intentions, well made, and it's not act of killing, but maybe it is a step to get you to act of killing. Maybe it walks so act of killing can run.
Yeah, well said. I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I feel that that's my main point. I mean, it's like I feel like when Idi Amin is going on and on about the proof of the Jews being evil or Israel being evil, and he has to point to the Elders of Zion pamphlet is certainly a good point from Barbara Schroeder, and I appreciate that, and I mean I appreciate the look of it, and hey, Idi Amin did supply some production value to it, so it is an interesting looking film, and I guess Idi Amin is credited as the music, as supplying the music to the film. And I think that's a interesting choice too.
Well, he plays the accordion.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think all of that is interesting, and again, I feel that the point is made well. It's an important point, but it's as I said, it's not act of killing, and it's there. And I feel you can't do that again today because nobody's gonna fall for that. And I feel that's kind of the biggest thing where you can see he's so proud about playing to the camera, and then every time he plays to the camera, he looks like a buffoon. But nobody ever is going to give you that kind of access again because they have this as uh, an example. So you got to be a lot more clever.
It is interesting though when you look at some of the people around him too. Like when they have the cabinet meeting and he just is like talking about spies are bad and look for spies, or the Ugandan women pull up their socks, wake up at 5 a.m. and manage hotels like they do in Nigeria, and it will do like a pan around the cabinet members. It's like, what the hell are they writing down? Like when they're hearing this, like, are they actually writing this stuff down? Like, is this meant to be taken literally? Is this meant to be taken figuratively? Like, is he talking about this is an initiative that I want to start seeing people like this, or is it like this is your I want to see people start waking up early in the morning and being productive, or is this like a new program? And he doesn't specify that, and then he says, "You're the cabinet ministers. You need to make the decisions. I will give you the briefing, however, no matter what time you call me." And just like what is going through their minds, or when he's
I think they're just thinking like, please don't make eye contact.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm just trying to not get shot today.
Or I mean, it is also like eerily maybe prescient where he is talking about Israel attacking Palestine with the aid of the US and the UK. Like there's
Something there I wanted to ask about. So there's a earlier on in the film they're talking about the Golan Heights. Like
Mhm.
what was that battle? Like was Israel trying to invade Syria?
I think that refers to the 6 Day War,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, interesting.
which is
Cool.
how Palestine basically got carved up into instead of being two co-equal states, they are just like this. They're kind of refugees within their own land.
Right, yeah. No, yeah, I think it's a fascinating historical document. Like, there's not many films that have this much, access and, images from like a major political figure.
Mm-hmm.
So it is interesting on that in that respect.
Yeah, I
But
do
I think
wonder if it really had an effect or not. I mean, I don't. Obviously, we're in the midst of it when you watch the film. Kind of like, did it shorten his reign? Did it not? I don't have the answer to that. I'm not quite sure if I know. I kind of think, it had no effect other than kind of exposing him to the West, but um, maybe it did have an effect. It's hard to say.
Well, also, I don't think he was. I think he's famous more for like the brutality of his regime rather than any real threat to the world stage.
Yeah,
Like it's Uganda, so there's really, I mean, no offense to Uganda, but it's not really deciding international policy. It's landlocked, it's small, doesn't really like control, I think, major aspects of that would have
Well,
large
no, there'd be no
implications.
way for them to launch an offense against
Yeah,
Europe or the US. Yeah.
or
no,
or Israel as they're training for.
yeah. I
I
Yeah.
feel
think,
the trading is fairly laughable too.
don't they
yeah,
have like
that's
2 planes?
they have two, yeah, and then they do like the paratrooping or paratroop practice where they're just like jumping
Down
like
a
6
Off a
slide.
inches
off a
and
deck?
then
Yeah.
sliding down the slides and like everybody's laughing. But
But he
yeah,
shows how brittle he is, right? I mean, I think
Mhm.
it's like a character study as much as anything, right? It is a self-portrait. It is him telling his own story, but in doing so, I think, at least for me, it he betrays himself, right? Like you see in the reactions around him, and then even in his own
Yeah.
like attempts at putting forward what he imagines looks powerful or
Versus reality.
persuasive. Right. Like he's out of step with reality, and every time it sort of gets worse and worse, right? Like the best was for me was when he has that swimming race,
hmm
and like, I mean, who's gonna win, right? Like,
Of
I mean,
course
it's
he's
and
gonna
it's
win. Yeah,
right,
yeah.
and he like runs people. I mean, like the whole thing is like, and
Make
then
sure
he
I
stands
could
up.
just hear him saying, "Make sure you get this on camera. Make sure you get this on
Yeah,
camera."
exactly. And then he stands up, he's like, I won. And it was like, of course you did, because like everybody's terrified that you're gonna like come in the night. If
that
you
that that's so weird too because it's is it he's instructing them to lose? Is it that those people around him who are just
no, they just
like, we
know.
can't win in
No,
this?
yeah,
And it's also like I don't think he was as dumb as he generally is regarded. Like, hey, he was able to, maintain power for a decent length of time. And he's also when he's talking about things, he doesn't really have to face consequences of them. When he's talking about like Kissinger won't come to visit me because he's afraid of me. I know a truth that he doesn't know. Or like
right.
again, we're gonna invade Israel. But for somebody who I think is like at least very conscious and very concerned about his cult of personality, I can't imagine that that is a scene that he would watch and say, you know, yes, this is great. Let's keep this in here. Like, I don't know if he is that delusional, like the sort of person who would reach out to Gaddafi and say, "Hey, send some of your people to Britain to watch the cut that I didn't get for this." Like there is some savviness in terms of how he at least presents himself that makes me wonder, like how.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's dumb. Like, I don't think he's
I don't think
as
he's dumb
dumb as
either.
maybe
No,
people
no.
think he is. Like, it's
Some people
it's
thought that at the
it's
beginning, I think.
it's just
Deluded.
he's very direct and he's very opinionated. But on the other hand, I would think Henry Kissinger would not meet with him one on one
I,
because
I
the
would agree with that too.
yeah, like this guy is huge. He could probably snap Kissinger and
Oh,
and
Kissinger wasn't a
like
small guy either,
no,
but
Yeah.
but this guy looks like he towered over people. He
Mhm.
looked
Well, this is
not only did he have control over the country, but like he looked like he could kick most people's asses.
Well, and
Yeah.
he was
it's also there. Kissinger would have no reason to go to Uganda. Like he wouldn't. He
Yes, of
wouldn't.
course.
He has so
Kissinger
many.
had bigger things on his plate, like the Soviet
Yeah,
Union, Vietnam, and Pol Pot in Cambodia.
and
well,
that's the
and
sort of thing where it's like I think you can point to Amin and say like, okay, well, he's an idiot for believing this. I don't think whether he believes it or not, I don't think is the point. It's that he is in a situation where he doesn't really have to bear any costs if he does believe it or if he says those things either, which is kind of like what's so interesting about his cult of personality, where you have somebody who can just be absolutely brutal and become known on the world stage simply for that, but not for any other threat. And it's like he did proclaim himself conqueror of the British Empire when they severed diplomatic relations with him. And it's like, we don't have time to fuck with this guy. We don't have time to swat this mosquito because it's so insignificant to us, which in turn is like, well, then I can just keep saying the most random shit and making the most broad claims against these superpowers. And if they're not going to deny me it, who are my people to say that what I'm saying is not the truth? Like, and it's such a weird situation that he created for himself and was able to sustain for that long. And it's like, there is some savviness there, and it's another thing where I just don't think you can really dismiss him, even if he is somewhat insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Sorry.
No, like that's true. And I'm sure like, even though, yeah, Uganda's one country, I'm sure England was not happy about that. Like when you're a former empire, like you want to have as much influence as you can. And um yeah, I don't think he's like insignificant or anything. Like I think
Yeah.
it is not, yeah, like it is like he was going against the grain a bit. Like he was aligning himself with Russia and China when, like that could have
Right.
resulted in like economic penalties, like sanctions and stuff, right? That would have hurt the country. So it's not like he's totally, you know, like just some wacko or like just some kind of goofball. Like,
Mhm.
but like but I will say like he is not fun to watch, but like I found it hard to look away.
Mhm.
Um, and I was um like again, maybe enjoying is the wrong word, but I was really focused. Like it was interesting. Like I didn't want to like do something else as I was watching it. So that's good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, do we want to kind of wrap this up and move on to the next one?
Yes, please.
So, Jim, who do you think gave it to you?
I think Nat gave it to me.
Okay.
And I guess in terms of a gift comparison, it's a black t-shirt, right? With a slogan that says, something like democracy doesn't fear protest, dictators do. Or, democracy over dictatorship or any number or hell, no kings.
Yeah.
I thought you were
we've been
going to say
seeing.
it's like getting a copy of Mein Kampf.
Well, yeah.
Or a
that
signed
too.
copy of the Elders of Zion, which would be pretty rare.
True, and
Given that it's not a real
well,
book.
Yeah. Well, it's a real book, but
I
Also,
I,
unknown.
I collect black t-shirts like you wouldn't believe. So I'm happy to add another politically driven one to my closet that says something along those lines.
what if it had a print of Idi Amin's face on it saying
No!
very good, very good, or clapping for an
Well-
alligator?
Or I have 18 children.
Yes, from 6 different wives, 4 different wives, I forget.
4.
Then I
3
would
of
wear
them
it-
he's estranged from.
I would wear it every day then. So
Very good, very good.
mhm. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, next film is
Mm,
Black Christmas.
Oh,
Black Christmas, I gave you my heart. Come on, Jim.
the
Very next,
I called you on the phone.
you suffocated me.
Yeah.
All right, I got the next one, which is Black Christmas. This is a 1974 Canadian slasher
Woohoo!
film, produced and directed by Bob Clark, written by Roy Moore, and starring the lovely Olivia Hussey, the delightful Margot Kidder, some Keir Dullea, and John Saxon. Bob Clark also, just backstepping a bit, probably maybe most famous around this time for Christmas Story. Maybe most famous in Canada for Porky's. Most reviled for Baby Geniuses. But and also can't forget the lovely Andrea Martin.
Yay, Canadian.
Oh yeah. And yeah, this is.
Don't forget what the Death Dream is that the.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites for sure.
Okay. Well, I can just bring up the entire fucking filmography if you want me to. So
Porky's.
Children shouldn't play. I said Porky's. Children shouldn't play with dead things.
Murder by Decree.
Murder by Decree. Breaking Point. Rhinestone. Turk 182.
Don't say loose cannons. Don't say loose
Cannons.
cannons.
My
No.
Summer Story. I'll remember April now and forever. And yeah, lots of films. And longtime listeners of the podcast may recall that this is actually one that we did on our very first Christmas special before we even had our Secret Santa gift exchange. So it is nice to be revisiting this one several years removed. What's that?
A decade later.
Wow.
Over a decade later. And I think this was widely regarded as by far the best one of the three that we chose for that Christmas special. I think it was the next best one. I think was a toss-up between White Christmas and Blue Christmas, but who remembers back then?
I don't think it was a toss-up.
Well, agree, disagree. But moving on. Now, this is it's I don't know, I kind of want to say it's more like a proto slasher, even though it is in the 70s.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I know you can go back to, some Mario Bava films or what have you, and it does predate Halloween. But this takes place on Christmas Eve. Is it Christmas Eve or like the day before Christmas Eve?
It's right around Christmas. They're having a Christmas party, and
it's not Christmas. It's like a few days before.
Yeah, it's the Christmas season. So I guess like before, like during the time when college is breaking for Christmas break. And starts out with a creepy POV of a guy climbing into a sorority house and entering the attic. And he makes some obscene phone calls, torments some of the girls in the sorority, murders one of them, and a decent portion of the film is kind of following around the group, trying to figure out what happened to Claire, who is the first student murdered, and then it devolves into some other murders. But yeah, that's our quick synopsis, and I still find this a very effective film, and I don't want to call it really a slasher because I think one of the things that really stood out for me this time, and who the hell knows, maybe it did last time, is how much time is actually spent with Claire's father and them trying to figure out what happened to her. As opposed
I was going to say the exact same thing.
Okay.
I was thinking that this time, like, man, there's not much slasher stuff. They're all just like fooling around with this guy, trying to find his dead daughter. Like how is this a slasher? And then it kind of becomes one later, but
yeah, like the structure of it really did stand out to me, and I like that. Because I really like the dad's performance in the film the last time, but it's also something where it does become, I guess, like what a classic slasher would be, but it does take a lot of time to really dwell on like that loss and that death and the significance of that death, and doesn't treat at least that initial body as disposable. And there are some really good moments with, like I think the phone calls are still genuinely creepy. I really like how Bob Clark lights things, or just like how the overall cinematography is. Like it does have a, it has like a sort of gritty, real look, but also he can make things kind of dreamlike. And the kids just watched Christmas Story for the first time, and he employs kind of similar techniques, especially with like first person perspective, and just kind of like wanders around and just like has the camera very jittery. And I'm thinking like when Ralphie goes to see Santa and he like, you have that extreme close up of like fisheye lens with Santa going ho 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 and kind of a similar thing he uses here from like the killer's perspective. It's just, yeah, it is genuinely uncomfortable, and also I think just really goes out of its way to do a lot of really good character work with like the sorority sisters and Margot Kidder just being like the trampy sort of brass sorority sister who makes like the fellatio joke to the
To
cop.
the coolest cop.
Yeah, that poor is it Nash? I had it written down here just because he is like such a butt of jokes in this. Yeah, it is Nash.
I like the detective that laughs at everything that's
Yeah.
going on too. I think he's just the man who laughs in the film. Is that how he credited or something like that? Laughing man.
Yeah, I mean we could all jump in here too. Like I don't need to monologue on this, but no,
Everyone jump in at the same time.
Let's all say our favorite thing.
It's a
John
new
Saxon.
Our new exchange.
I also do want to mention too, and I think I mentioned this in the chat at least one or two times, but I love how Olivia Hussey answers the phone. Hello, hello.
Yeah.
She just has like the best awkward answering voice. But here, Cody, if you wanna take it. Oh, he just said he's gonna be right back. So I think Cody has to answer the phone. How about let's see, Jim or Angela, whoever wants to fight it out to go next.
I want to hear
Gonna-
Angela's take.
Yeah, I want to hear Angela too.
Okay. I too had girded my loins for a slasher movie, and there was, you know, in comparison to modern expectations, very little slashing that went on. So I was pleased. And I didn't love the ending. It sort of felt like you're gonna leave her alone, unconscious,
That still frustrates me too. Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
house.
They didn't
by
check the
herself,
whole house
and you
too.
Yeah.
didn't go in the attic. Like you
Weird.
never figured out who was making the phone call. I mean, I guess they thought it was the one guy, but I mean, there's a lot of unanswered questions at the end of the movie, and it just kind of ends.
Yeah, why would you leave
And-
the cop in the car outside? Why you just
Yeah.
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 I couldn't get over there. Like, oh, she's unconscious. She won't be awake for a while. And they're like, and then he just faints, just
Mhm.
out of exhaustion. I don't know, but
Well, especially since like a cop was already murdered there, like earlier that night. So wouldn't they also like have
Yeah.
a team out investigating that too?
there is not enough cops in the movie, right, for the situation that we're having. There's like three,
Mm-hmm.
basically. It's not enough, and you're not leaving her alone. So the end of the movie lost me a little bit, but I would say overall, it's holiday themed, and I did not know that is where the call is coming from inside the house. It comes from, and when they said the line, I looked over at Matt like, oh, he's like, yeah, that's where it comes from. So I had like an epiphany. So I mean, overall, enjoyed.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's very good.
A classic. I can see why it's a classic.
Yeah, worth talking about twice on this show. As a matter of fact, I mean, I enjoy the early work of Bob Clark, particularly this and Death Dream. I love Canadian films, particularly horror and exploitation, and like we've talked about, an unexpected slasher quote unquote film. I mean, again, it's funny. Like I know Halloween definitely becomes a slasher too later on, but it is mostly a stalker film of sorts. That's something whenever I go back to Halloween, I also think that too. And to some degree, I'm like, it takes a while to get to some of the kills, but once we get to them, Yeah, and it's just really well executed, well directed, really creepy, great sound design, and some of those tropes we've talked about is just yeah, this is kind of where it all originated. I mean, the final girl, the POV of the killer, and the calls coming from inside the house are all things that I mean, I'm sure versions of it may have come before, like we talked with Mario Bava or whatever, but like this just felt like, yeah, this is where it all started, and everybody sort of, borrowed things from this to lesser degrees in some slasher films, but of course, someone like John Carpenter really, really made an impression, basically taking this idea and running with it and maybe improving on the ending a little bit in his case. But yeah, I mean, I like that there's a real sense of community and camaraderie with the sorority girls, and just they're all distinguishable from one another. They
all consider.
yeah, and it's just like, the the crazy headmistress and her cat. Come on, you gotta love that. You gotta love every character.
The house mother,
House mother. That's what I meant.
Like, you cannot discount her performance in this. I mean,
The flask hidden everywhere.
The flask hidden everywhere. Also, the use of hat pins, which I still am not clear on how they work. Like, what are you pinning your hat to? Is there another hat underneath? You're pinning it to your head? Like, what? I don't understand. But she uses several hat pins, which I get distracted easily by things. But yeah, her character was great. I was sad when she inevitably was knocked off relatively early in the film.
Yeah.
I think another thing I really do like about this, and on this watch, is maybe it's kind of like the looseness for it, where it doesn't really dwell on any one thing, but it just hints at so many different things, and maybe it's like it doesn't want to explicitly call things out, whereas I think subsequent slashers probably would make a huge deal of it. So like the pregnancy scare thing being a big one, and how the killer knows or references that in subsequent calls, or just how I think you said, sound design of it, just how the calls are kind of this mismatch of like, it sounds like a record is playing, and then somebody's talking with it, and how they're able to change or distort their voice. And there's no explanation to that. I do get frustrated with the ending as well. Like, it just seems stupid and out of character for them to leave her there. But I like that it points to a lot of directions with things like the obscene phone calls and with the pregnancy and whether they want to have an abortion and all that, but doesn't really resolve those. Whereas you think of like any 90s thriller, and that would be the impetus for everything. Like, they would spend so much more time on that and offer such a more detailed, robust, and boring, and just kind of like overly movie scripted explanation or reasoning as to like, this is why and this is how. So
I totally agree. I totally agree with that. I think like this killer, like, what's the lore? What's the canon? Like, did he escape from a there normally is like a little bit more about like why something is happening. It's like, no, this guy just crawled in a window. He lives in the attic now and he just picks people off. Like, and there's like zero explanation to the setup. It's just, this is what's happening.
Right.
And
I like that too.
And he's not some superhuman killer that as far as we know.
Well, and is the little girl related or not? We don't ever do we ever do they ever thread that through? Like, there's some other body that they find that's not in the house. It's like, well, is that related? It's kind of like insinuated, but not, we don't really know.
It's weird that there was never a sequel. You would think.
Black or Christmas. I mean, there were remakes, but yeah.
Oh, they're definitely remakes. Yeah. 2 of them.
New Year's Eve.
But and there's also like a lot of time spent with the inspector, the detective, too, for something that ultimately, like, he comes up empty.
Yeah. I really like, just kind of the construction of this and the craft of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like nobody's ever really done tracing a call better than this film because you see why
Yes.
they have to keep on the line for 2 minutes.
Hmm.
I mean, we hear that all the time. You have to keep on the line longer. You have to keep on the line longer. Now they kind of show you why you have to keep on the line longer and how you have to track down the switch within a maze of them, and
Yeah.
it makes sense. It's effective filmmaking,
Yeah.
and most films skip on it, and I wish they would.
It seems
Yeah, I
like
was like,
Go
I
ahead.
wanted to pause the movie and like research like how did phones work? Like I don't understand. like what? There's a room and there's like things moving and like it's coming from inside the house. Yeah.
So did they
No.
have a second line?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's going on?
Well, it's a
We don't
sorority
know.
house, so I'd assume they would have like a couple lines.
I believe the
Well-
headmistress has her own line too.
Hmm.
She had her online, but that they yeah.
Or house mother, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no reason why she should have to share a line with a bunch of college girls.
Hmm. Although she also would be the sort of person to actually listen in on all those calls
True.
too.
100%. 100% agree. Oh yeah. She knows all the gossip.
It does feel like a Canadian film too, and it kind of also feels like a Wisconsin film with they use the snowmobiles to kind of search for the park for the body.
Hmm.
I felt that, there's lots of guns in the film. Canada has guns.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
And
Weird time to say that right now. Sorry.
yeah, it is. There's some rednecks in it, or the Canadian equivalent of rednecks. White trash, maybe.
I think moose necks.
Snacks.
I always like to say we don't have rednecks in my family, but we might have white trash.
Is that better?
I don't know.
Where is the ranking of like white trash, rednecks, and hillbillies?
I think they're just regional variations, aren't they?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I believe it's the rednecks are the Scotch Irish that settled in Appalachia, and the hills. That's how it kind of. They're kind of related to hillbillies.
I guess actually isn't the Canadian equivalent, and Cody, correct me if I'm wrong, wouldn't that be like if you'd say somebody's from the territories, that's like the equivalent?
No, you wouldn't say that.
Oh.
Well, maybe you want to get
Like
punched.
we call people rednecks here if they're from like rural places,
Okay.
but it's pretty much interchangeable. Um, Territories are largely indigenous population,
Oh, okay.
so you wouldn't refer to them like that. Yeah.
How about Manitobans?
No, the Manitobans are okay.
Okay.
Newfies.
Well, that's
Yeah,
different. They
that's
have
true.
Newfies are like they have a very weird accent. So, and they're very friendly. Um, so I wouldn't call them rednecks though. They would be like your version of Cajuns in that you can't understand what they're saying.
Mm,
Interesting.
I like that. I feel like Bob Carp does a good job with the craft, and I think it's a good-looking movie. I feel like the Christmas lights really kind of pop in this with all the darkness.
Yeah, it's shot at U of T campus.
Yeah, it looks like a Canadian film in many
Yeah,
ways,
still that campus still looks like that too.
and there's like 4 interior sets basically. The house, I guess there's multiple sets in the house, but you got the sorority house, you got the police station, and you got the switching room, and I guess you have what the piano concert room,
Yeah.
and that's basically it for sets. But it doesn't feel small. So I feel they do a good job of keeping it well paced and moving in and out and shooting it in interesting ways. And the cast is distinct. I don't know if they're that interesting. I mean, Andrea Martin, I'd have a tough time describing what her character actually is.
I think
Not
she's
sure
like
what-
the sensitive or kind of like naive one.
maybe. She's not the final girl, though.
Nope.
Nope. Margot Kidder is what, the drunken slutty one.
Mm-hmm.
So of course she has to die. Yeah, Claire's not really well developed, but she's killed off pretty early. So I guess there's an explanation for that. We spend a lot more time with her father, and then you have the clueless cop, you have John Saxon, and you have the laughing cop that finds everything that they do hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I think John Saxon even tells him to stop laughing at one point. And I guess they have the guy in the phone switching room that seems to be the competent one.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's like just enough people, and it's not a giallo, it's not a slasher film either. It's kind of its own little thing. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate we never really find out much about the killer other than he's obviously nuts. I kind of wonder about the Keir Delia's subplot too. I mean, I know he gets blamed for everything, and I don't know if he's well developed enough. I mean, on the one hand, I don't want to blame Olivia Hussey for that, but she kind of treats him like shit. Kind of spoils his concert or his performance where he's big final where he's trying to graduate from his music conservancy, but she brings news on him like hours before he has to perform. So I feel like that's kind of on her. That's an inappropriate timing, but he's also a big boy that should be able to deal with it. So him getting blamed for everything kind of feels. I don't know if it's reactionary or liberal, but it's an interesting thought. If I don't quite think it works, I think it's interesting. But I mean, overall, I enjoy the film. I find it, it's I don't want to say tongue in cheek, but it's kind of light, but fun and serious and scary. And those phone calls are very uncomfortable. And we talked about it at length 10, 11 years ago. So I don't know if I have much more to say other than I enjoyed it. I did spot the split screen diopter or the split diopter that Cody pointed out the first time. So
Yeah.
I think he uses it twice at least.
I love that.
So I did see that, and I said, "Oh, that's what it is. I see it now." So thank you, Cody.
No problem.
Sorry to bring everybody down, but apparently Rob Reiner was found dead at his Los Angeles home today, just now.
Huh.
Very sad news.
Oh,
Breaking news. Oof. Anyway, we'll have to find out what happened there, but their deaths are being, him and his wife are being investigated as a homicide. So, wow. We're going to have something.
This is the first time we've done breaking news on the podcast.
I know.
Yeah.
Now everybody's going to want to listen to this episode. Whew. Anyway, sorry. I got pinged. My phone lit up, and I never try to look at my phone while I'm podcasting, and I did. And then look what happens.
It's weird.
Breaking news. Very sad. Very sad. Okay, let's move on. Sorry. Bring everybody down. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Let's move on to the next film.
No. Nat has who gave it to him, and guess who gave it and compare it to a gift. So take it away, Nat.
Sorry, I'm just reading up on this Rob Reiner thing. I don't see, looking at CNN, it says 2 found dead at an address associated with Hollywood director Robert Reiner.
The one I got 5 minutes ago says it was Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle Singer, were found dead in their home.
Well, this says updated 52 minutes ago, so it may not be as recent. Let's see. What would I rate this as? I would say that this is a gift that reminds me, since it's a re-gift or it's a recurring gift, I'm going to say it's like when you get a consumable or a perishable from someone that you enjoy, both the perishable and the person who's giving it to you. So it's a treat to watch this again. It's a treat to scarf down on some of that cheese every year. that I get from, say, Shelburne Farms or Tillamook or what have you. Shout out to my sister for some Tillamook cheese for my birthday. So I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm gonna say it's a nice thing that doesn't take up space, is pleasant to revisit each year, and is always a treat. And I'm going to
Cool.
guess that. See, that's the thing. I want to say it has to be either like Jim or Angela because they weren't here for the
Well, if it's Robert or me,
Well, that's the
come
thing.
on,
Is
man.
it somebody who didn't listen, who hasn't listened to our podcast when we covered this, or is it someone who just forgot that we covered that? In which case, since I think Jim probably would know that we've covered it, and Angela doesn't like horror films. I'm gonna say it probably was Cody.
What?
Okay.
So
Let's move on.
let's do some analyze this.
Analyze
No.
this.
Analyze this. What do you mean?
Who guys analyze this? Is that
I thought it's Wisconsin Death Trip.
analyze this came out before it was Wisconsin Death Trip?
Oh,
Yep.
damn it. Okay, good. We're going to end on a high note then. Analyze this movie. Okay, this is a movie, crime comedy film directed by Harold Ramis with playwrights Kenneth Lonergan and Peter Tolan. It follows a crisis-stricken mafioso played by Robert De Niro who solicits the assistance of a reluctant psychiatrist played by Billy Crystal, whose wife in the film is played by Lisa Kudrow. I have seen this movie before. I don't really care for it, and it's okay, I guess. Um, I don't know if I like a lot of Harold Ramis's movies, to be honest. I think I like
Dog
him as
Day.
an act. I think I like him as an actor more.
Do you like Groundhog Day?
It's okay. Yeah.
Fighting words for Jim.
Well, it's not bad. I'm not. It's
Oh,
not.
okay,
It's not gonna like blow my mind. But yeah, I'll say it's like an okay comedy. I don't know. I think the most memorable. I think my favorite parts of the film are with Lisa Kudrow. I think she's really funny in it,
Yeah.
and um, I don't know. It's like I kind of, as I was watching, I was thinking like, there aren't that many just average comedies out these days, so I kind of miss this type of movie where you have big actors just having fun. I don't know why that is. And it is kind of like a high concept, like so I do miss stuff like that. But overall, it's funny. I do find parts funny. I don't like it's not a bad movie. It's just not something I would ever like choose to watch in a million years.
It's so weird that this came out the same year as The Sopranos, and they both deal with like the mafia going to therapists or psychiatrists.
Yeah, but this is done like this is kind of done like a classical Hollywood thing where it's like,
Hmm.
you know, they're it's all funny and stuff, whereas like The Sopranos, yes, that's part of it, but it's more than that,
Yeah, it's
you know?
weird that you have
Yeah.
like two fairly prominent, I guess, pieces of content or media that have like a premise that's so close to it. And like for the same
Yeah,
thing.
but they treat it very differently.
Well, yeah, I mean
Yeah.
one's a comedy and like one is a television show where they're more serious, but it is like for panic attacks, like a lot of the
Yeah.
situations of like trying to keep it secret because it's viewed as a weakness. Like, I'm assuming they weren't collaborating with each
No,
other
of course
during
not. Yeah.
this.
But like, yeah, but this is like more like the sort of like essence of this is like it's like the mobster who's, I don't know, becoming like just kind of making like a unlikely friend, right?
Hmm.
Like, isn't that kind of what it is? Like it's sort of like a clash of two worlds. Whereas I think like Sopranos is more of like a deconstruction of like the mafia film itself. And I think like it's what's for me more memorable about Sopranos is that it's set and based in New Jersey in a very unglamorous setting. Like, like it does reference a lot of Scorsese's films, but it is a very unglamorous version of it.
Yeah. Well, it's
Whereas this,
heavily
like, it
influenced by
seems
Goodfellas.
like, De Niro is like basically just like referencing his career
Mm-hmm.
in Scorsese's films or in Brian De Palma films,
Mm-hmm.
later films, I guess. But
No, and I'm not trying to draw more of a connection to these two
I think you
than there
are.
probably is. Well, okay, but
I'm
again,
just kidding.
the premises are pretty much identical. And yeah, I'm not expecting Analysis to be a comprehensive deconstruction of the mafia genre in a gritty, realistic setting.
Sounds like you were.
Well, no, but I mean they also do treat like they do speak about like pop culture in terms of like mafia films in both. There are some actors who show up in both of them. I mean, basically it's the same thing at this point. So I think there are way more parallels than you're giving credit for, and I think that this is perfectly fine to compare the two as being mirrors of each other. So,
Or at least something in the air at the time, in the zeitgeist at the time, where you have an idea you done two different ways in two different projects.
mhm. I also think
I'm
of
still
this.
not getting over that Kenneth Lonergan wrote this, but now looking at his filmography, he also wrote The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Oh yeah,
Hey.
well, I think he was like partnering with De Niro at this time.
And 2 episodes of Doug, the cartoon.
Yeah, well, De
Wow,
Niro
he's
was
had
a
a
big
weird
Doug
career.
fan.
You do realize who Kenneth Lonergan is, I would hope. He's an incredible playwright, and
He wrote.
Yeah, I do. That's why I'm saying this is so weird.
I know it's weird. Yeah, it is weird. I just can't believe it. And yet, yeah, it's. I know what it's like. As I was watching this, I'm like thinking back to the time when my dad and I went to go see What About Bob opening night at the theater, and the entire audience was just like scream laughing, and I certainly found it funny, but it's weird because like after studying to become a therapist for a little while, that's why I have a bachelor's in psych. I was thinking about becoming Billy Crystal in this movie. These movies never portray therapy accurately. That nobody knows boundaries at all in these movies, or nobody ever upholds boundaries in any way.
The kid who's like listening in on sessions, he's like, "Listen, kid, don't tell anybody."
God.
You're just like, what? No wonder nobody wants to go to therapy.
Yeah, but once you get past that,
yeah,
it's pretty funny. I don't know, like, I'm curious to know what Cody, what movies do you find funny? I'm just curious. I'm not like accusing you of anything, but I'm just curious.
Okay, yeah,
Anything
it's fine
with
if you're
Rutger
accusing me.
Hauer.
I do like, I like Rutger Hauer movies. I like Spinal Tap. Speaking of Rob Reiner,
good. Yeah.
Funny movies like from this decade. You mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess like you were saying too. I kind of agree that we don't get movies like this anymore, and I kind of miss that too. Really, but
yeah, I think from the '90s. I don't know. Like Dazed and Confused, I guess, is funny.
You like Albert Brooks comedy, so those are.
I like Albert Brooks, but I don't know from this decade.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. That's a good question. What I like from the '90s.
Because I feel like once the Farrelly brothers, became.
Oh, I loved Dumb and Dumber. Yeah, I love Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah. Like that sort of just like defined the '90s comedy. Really, everybody just wanted to do gross out stuff, or make American Pie, or
I don't find American Pie that funny, but I don't remember it. So there's also that.
A guy fucks a pie in it, That's but that's all you need to remember. No, but I like it. I wouldn't say this is an all-time comedy classic, and even going back to something like What About Bob, which a lot of people do find to be consistently hilarious, I think it's just sporadically funny. Like there are things in it that are funny, and then there are things I kind of roll my eyes at. Like I really do like the dynamic between Crystal and De Niro. Like even if it's just them in a room doing therapy, I think that's probably some of the better scenes. Whereas in contrast, I think once you start, tacking on more plot mechanics and involving that meeting with all the mob bosses, and Billy Crystal suddenly has to pretend he's in the mafia. I think a little of that goes a long way. I get a little burnt out on Crystal being wacky, I guess. Like I prefer him being the straight man, or at least being more subtle and than wacky Billy Crystal, unless it's The Princess Bride again. Rest in peace, Rob Reiner. But no, I do think that for the most part, it's slight. It's a little long, but I think it's got some really funny moments, and it's mostly charming and harmless. And anytime De Niro cries, I'm laughing.
I can't stand De Niro crying. I hate De Niro crying in this.
I don't like him crying, but I do like when he says you.
I like that.
Yeah, I do. I like that
you."
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do like that. And I
Yeah.
do like
Is this-
Lisa Kudrow in every scene.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
She's great.
she's always as good. But is this sort of the beginning of like the De Niro renaissance that we had in sort of the 90s and early 2000s?
I don't know if
not
I
the
would say
Renaissance. It's the beginning of his
comedy stretch, I think.
comedy films that are not King of Comedy. Oh, that's a film
Yeah.
I find funny. King of Comedy.
That is a funny film.
Yeah. Midnight Run. Midnight Run was
Oh,
great.
yeah.
That was like late 80s. Yeah.
But he is more of a straight man in that.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, I think I was gonna say that too, Angela, so I'm glad you mentioned it, because yeah, like I think that was one of the big draws of this film when it first came out, is like De Niro playing, like making fun of himself, making fun of his filmography, especially when, like, it's a few years removed, obviously, but like the 90s, he would do like the nasty De Niro stuff, like Cape Fear, and I think like he did Ken
Oh,
Branagh
he's so good in
Frankenstein.
Cape Fear.
Yeah.
I love Cape Fear.
Yeah.
No, but this is clearly like just a reference to Goodfellas and Casino and
The Godfather.
and just him being a gangster. Like it's just like just an amalgamation of everything.
Yeah, he was coming off of Ronin, so maybe he's just changing his pattern. I mean, Jackie Brown was.
He's really funny. Jackie
He
Brown.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
Heat, Casino, Jackie Brown, Ronin. That's a good run.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
and
also
wag
it's,
the dog. Wag the dog.
Wag the dog, yeah.
I'd say also maybe it's like those I think of as more performances, whereas I think like it goes this, then like Meet the Parents. I guess nobody would say he's funny in Awakenings, but yeah, like Jackie Brown, I think it's just he's super funny, but it's also like that is a great performance. He's not really poking fun
But
at
he's
himself.
funny and against type. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He's very against type in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Analyze this, he's very playing two type.
Mm-hmm.
And parodying that type to a way. And I feel like he's not as good as he is in his best performances, but I feel like he is given a performance here, and you can see like the veins on his neck throbbing when he gets angry. So he's actually trying.
Mm-hmm.
And there's
back to what Jim was asking. Okay, my favorite funny scene in the 90s from Barton Fink, the movie producer guy, just talking quickly. I think it's Michael Lerner.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hilarious.
Those are my favorite scenes of the 90s. Then is just the Big Lebowski in general.
Sure.
For 90s comedies. Yeah, okay.
What about in
okay.
Barton Fink where they like keep doing Devil on the Canvas, take 5, and it's just this huge hulking guy walking towards the camera and screaming, "I will destroy him!" And they play that like 5 times over. That's really
I don't
funny.
mind that. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, I like obviously I like Barton Fink. Oh, I guess generally speaking, I find Twin Peaks funny the first 2 seasons. Yeah.
We need to just like do a Secret Santa where we just gift each other Coen's Brothers movies.
Yeah, or comedies. Yeah.
I'd be happy.
But yeah, I do think the 90s maybe for me wasn't a period where I'm like, oh yeah, those are all my favorite comedies, but there's some good ones. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Robert.
Well, I mean, I'll agree with the general sentiment. It's not a great film, but I think it is a good film, and
Yeah.
I feel that um, Ramis had a thing about main characters improving themselves. So I don't know if De Niro's a main character. Certainly, he undergoes therapy and he becomes a more well-adjusted mobster, I guess you would say, and he wants to walk away at the end. So maybe that is a good thing. And he's dealing with the uh, trauma of his seeing his father get murdered, which seems like a Kenneth Lonergan thing. So you can kind of see the individual parts in there, and I kind of like it. And I think it's not unfunny. I think it has some roles. I think the worst part is when Billy Crystal turns into a Borscht Belt comic for when he impersonates a mobster at the big meeting.
Yeah.
I feel that's the weakest part of it. Although I do like him kind of psychoanalyzing Chaz Palminteri and getting under his skin, and basically asking why is he so angry and shouting because he can hear him just fine. I feel that's good and actually character, but him there, a lot of that it just doesn't work for me. Um, I do wonder. I haven't seen Alto Nights, but I wonder if the uh, the seed that became Alto Nights was in that opening narration about the gangland meeting in the 50s.
Mhm.
So I kind of wonder if that with the De Niro, but I like De Niro. He's not as good as he is in Midnight Run, or even for that, I think he's not as good as Meet the Parents, but certainly better than most of the other comic performances he's done.
Dirty Grandpa. God.
I mean, I feel like Silver Linings Playbook is where you could say there was a bit of a renaissance with De Niro. I feel
Oh
like,
yeah.
but most of this, I feel like he was not well served by the early 2000s or the mid 2000s as it went. So, um, I like it. I feel like Sopranos does this whole idea better, but it's 2 hours. It has a high concept. It's funny. I like most of the performances in here, but as you say, it's boundaries are not boundaries are violated here and there, and I feel like some of this is broad, but I guess it's not a great film, but I understand why it was popular, and I think it's fun seeing De Niro kind of parodying his own sorts of film roles. So I like all that stuff. So it's good. Not great, but good.
Well,
How about
we're
you,
also
Matt? Nothing we
missing
heard from you.
we're missing the best performance in this movie. Jelly.
Ah, Joe
Vitarelli.
Vitarelli, yes.
Yeah.
He's a blast. Yeah.
No, I feel like Jelly steals every scene that he's in. Like where they're when De Niro has his first panic attack and they're like in the hospital and he's just like sitting in the chair playing with like the reflex hammer. Or like De Niro's describing like his dream about the baby's milk and it being black, and then just off screen you hear Vitarelli is like, that's fucking weird. Like, no, I wish there were more of him.
He has that wonderful hangdog expression on his face at all times too.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, just like how like when he beats the shit out of someone. But no, I wish he had been more of a staple of it. Like we need a little bit more jelly with our peanut butter. But no, I feel like I do feel like that is the best performance in this movie, or the one that actually is like the performance, because he is kind of the confidant. He is kind of like new to this, and there is like a loyalty to him. He has a great look to him, and he's not just the guy playing himself, because like everybody else, maybe with the exception of like Lisa Kudrow, but yeah, like De Niro is, like you said, playing to type. Billy Crystal is playing to type. It's easily the same as his character from like City Slickers, Chaz Palminteri's cast, because he's playing playing to type. So I want to give some props to Joe Vitarelli.
Yeah, also really good in Bullets Over Broadway.
Yes.
As was
Oh,
Chaz
yeah.
Palminteri.
Yes, he
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. But very good at that. I feel like, you see kind of Reynolds' limitations at directors when he's asked to do an action scene.
Yeah. There's a chase too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of lame.
I will say the reenactment of the Godfather sequence is really good.
Yeah. I enjoyed the oranges being in the scene too.
Mm-hmm. Angela?
Yes.
Angela didn't like it.
It was fine. It's a little bit dated. It, for me, doesn't age as well as some other comedies of that era. It's funny you brought up What About Bob, because I actually enjoyed that one quite a bit, and I think it actually ages better in some respects.
Well, certainly having Richard Dreyfuss
I have a shirt
scream.
from What About Bob?
Oh,
is it the Don't Hassle Me, I'm Local?
Yeah, the same colors
man.
too. That's
I gotta
awesome.
Give me one of those.
Well done.
But yeah, I mean, it could have been worse. So
that's what they should have named the movie.
Could have been worse.
I do kind of wonder if the Sopranos as a comparison does the film no favors.
Yeah, I do think it's hard to not.
A great comparison.
Oh, it's a
no, but it's hard
comparison.
not to. Yeah, it's hard not to start making comparisons, and it doesn't.
I wonder if it would better regarded if we didn't have the Sopranos with the.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
But it's also not a great comparison either, and you shouldn't make it.
You absolutely
so stop thinking it.
Don't do it. Yeah, stop it.
Stop. Cut it out.
It's a comparison of the century.
You.
Millennium, even.
You.
Oh, other good 90s comedies. Rushmore.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
Really made me laugh.
I want to hear Cody laugh. That's all I want to hear.
Oh, Cody laughs all the time.
Oh, okay.
Don't you listen to the podcast, Jim?
I don't think I laugh that much. I think Robert is more the laughing guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Cody kind of does
Robert's laugh.
Robert does the like the Johnny LaRue sort of like, or William B. Williams more laugh, and then
yeah, he's like William B. Williams. Yeah,
and then Cody's kind of like the
yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle of that.
Little laughs.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like the Hank Hill type laugh. But I guess
I gotta go back to the 90s. I'm really liking this list here.
Yeah. Well, maybe we gotta do more 90s sci-fi comedies.
Oh, Ace Ventura. That was funny.
Pluto Nash.
Pluto Nash.
What?
90s sci-fi comedy. There we go.
Mystery Men?
Mystery Men.
Yeah.
That is that in the 90s?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Short, too.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. We're talking about other films now.
Yeah, let's talk about one more.
All right.
Yes, let's get on. I got the last. So. Oh, wait, you gotta give us your guess and your...
I think it's Jim, and the gift is a... I don't want to be rude.
It's a movie.
It's the bottle of like wine or something. There you go.
Bottle of movie wine.
Italian.
Okay. Yeah, please go ahead with the introduction of your film, Robert.
That's a Robert laugh.
Yes. Let me pull up the information. I should know this information, but
Yeah.
Where does it take place,
it's about
Robert?
I don't. Yeah, where does it take place?
It's about your hometown, Robert,
Well,
Wisconsin.
It's close by. My family is up in that general neck of the woods.
I knew it.
Oh.
They came from Clark County, which is the county immediately north of Jackson County, where Black River Falls is located. Now, Wisconsin Death Trip, a film directed by James Marsh before he did Man on Wire and Project Nim. Basically is kind of a live action recreation of a nonfiction book about basically reprinting photos and newspaper articles from Black River Falls from the late 19th, early 20th century when they had like a record string of suicides and murders in that neck of the woods from various things that are, um, uh, you know, economic hardship, the dismal winters, etc. In that area that kind of uh, uh, trigger these things, and they didn't make note of it at the time. The newspaper kind of was talking about all of the attractions of the area, but things were going horribly wrong there, and the death toll was well above the national average at the time. So this was recorded in a book by Michael Lessie in the early 1970s, and it was adapted in the 1990s by James Marsh, who um, made it somewhat of a I don't know what would you call it. I don't know if you call it fictional film, essay film, or
It's like
a
a film essay. Yeah.
documentary. Because it's kind of it has reenactments. It's made mostly of reenactments, but it's about real things and real people and things that actually happened, or at least reenactments of that. But it's so is it fiction? Is it nonfiction? It's hard to say. It kind of walks the line. It's kind of like James Marsh would later do the recreations of the events that led up to the big wire walk between the Twin Towers in Man on Wire. Frame it as a heist film. So is it a documentary or are those parts fictional? It's a little bit of well, both, and this is kind of a little bit of both. It's recreations and for a lot of the film, although they also do some actual filming in the area. And people like Jeffrey Dahmer and Ed Gein are mentioned in the film, so maybe it's kind of tracing legacy from the early 19th or late 19th century to present. Um, though I don't feel like it ever really actually says much about current Black River Falls, um, which is about halfway between Angela and me as I-94 goes. Yeah, I feel it's a very interesting film. I saw it in the theaters at the time, and Sarah's read the book. I've read the book, and it's an interesting thing. And the movie is be tough to adapt the book as is. I suppose you could do it as a Ken Burns style documentary with talking heads reading articles and from the newspaper and panning over the photographs. But this is something entirely different than that, with lots of recreations going on. And I don't know if there's an actual narrative at all at any point. Maybe about Mary Sweeney, the hot dip on cocaine window breaker of the era, who is probably the star of the film. Um, but I feel that's communicated well. But I like it. It's a unique film, as I said. I don't know how you really classify it, and I think that's kind of what makes it something one of a kind. And as I said, it walks so Man on Wire could run. So it's a good film. I'm glad to revisit it. I hadn't thought about it for a while, but I'm glad I did. So whoever picked it, thank you. So let's move on to Jim.
Ooh, yeah. Well, as anyone who listens to this show knows, I love a good experimental film like Doggy Woggies and Poochie Woochies. So, anything that just like challenges the form or makes something that I haven't seen before, I'm all for it. Yeah, I mean, probably my favorite discovery this year was was The Holy Mountain. Like I finally watched it and I'm just like, this is what movies could be? What? Okay. But yeah, like this was interesting. I mean, I've certainly I've seen the book probably at a library at one point in time just because of the title. Flipped through it and was just like kind of like really taken aback by what I saw in terms of the photos and everything. And yeah, this is really kind of interesting in that as we've talked about it being like a film essay, it's also heartbreaking and kind of like a folk horror story at the same time. Like some of the things that we learn about specific people, and just like we mentioned early on. I don't know if it was off mic, but Mary Sweeney is a memorable person in a lot of ways. In terms of like she also gets the final word with the closing sequence of the film that I found to be quite intriguing when it comes to like sanity being questioned. When she's incarcerated, she insists that she doesn't belong there. Even though she sort of took perverse pleasure in breaking of windows and shattering things, but she's still kind of like baffled by why she was persecuted. And I think questions like that sort of pop up throughout the movie, and like there's just interesting juxtapositions throughout, like just life and death.
I would like to point out the recurring mention of Mendota mental health facility or Mendota Asylum, where
Right.
ultimately ended up in.
Yeah, and yeah, like some of the images are, I mean, again, certainly just montages throughout, or yeah, like once the final third kicks in, and like some of the stories start to pile on top of one another. Yeah, I felt like the film really kicked into high gear. But it's just a really interesting way to tell a story. Like on one hand, I'm like, is this kind of like a PBS special? Yes and no, but like having a narrator tell us stories, and then we see the photos from the past as like a historical record. I know I've seen versions of that in the past, but this is just done differently with an interesting tone, and like I said, almost folk horror-esque, and just an interesting examination about small town life being corrupted, and like we've talked about the perceptions of madness during a very sort of fragile time in Black River Falls. So it definitely makes me want to revisit the book and actually sit with it and just see like just take it in a different way too, like because this is often like a photo book, but we hear the stories behind the photos or the people. But I mean, I would say like it's an experiment done right, to where I'm going to be haunted by it a little bit for sure, and just curious to like see more examples of this type of storytelling done this way, because I thought it was very well done, and we're ending on a high note with this one. So.
It doesn't hurt to have Sir Ian Holm do the narration.
Yeah,
Either.
He's got a great voice for sure.
Yes, he does.
What did Angela think? I'm excited to hear.
Ooh, this one was hard for me.
Sure.
It's dark. It paints a bleak picture, and the contrast that I think it's trying to, or comparison that is trying to maybe draw between modern day rural challenges and life, and back to this other time in the same town, like it's not optimistic, right? I mean, it's like a lot of the same challenges, a lot of yeah, I don't know. It was tough. It was tough to just have like, I think especially given like the way, mental health and like incarceration of women was addressed at the time that this is talking about. So many of these women end up incarcerated for extended periods of time repeatedly. I mean, so obviously like nothing's actually like improving in their lives. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's real, or like in a, realish. Um and I think I love how I appreciate how it ends, as it begins with sort of this like almost sales pitch for like why someone should move to Black, River Falls, right? It's like fertile land and happy times, and
Yeah,
after
isn't there a part where
spending,
the mayor is like, "Oh, the it's really safe for kids here" or something? Like the
yeah,
mayor says some like crazy statement like
yeah, and you're
that.
just like, okay, sure. um and so I mean, I think it's like the illusion of this idyllic life and contrasted against like the realities of the time, and also this particular place where life is hard, right? I mean, um people immigrating and trying to carve out a life that maybe was misrepresented in some way, of like what it would be. um and they say at some point people just start getting out, they have free train rides out of town, like people are just like leaving, right? I mean, so it's just which gets into like, the flight from rural America. And I don't know. It was a lot. It was a lot. And there was just grim vignettes of like the woman who
Yeah.
drowns her children, and like people hanging from trees and people getting shot. And it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm not saying it's bad, but it was an emotional lift for me. And I don't think I'll go back to Black River Falls anytime soon, either emotionally or physically. So yeah, Cody, what did you think?
Oh, I loved it. I think it's like one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. Like I think the way it just kind of monotonously goes from case to case, kind of paints this weird picture, like you are watching a horror film. Um, if even half these things are true, which I think they are, then like this is a weird town. Like this is a bizarre town, and I don't know how many other towns are like this. Maybe this is just the one that was documented, you know?
I will say, to be fair to Wisconsin, there are there are stories from Kenosha that get into the film. There are stories from way up north by Forest County by the UP. So it's not
Hey, don't
just the
start
Black
talking
River
shit about
Falls.
Michigan.
Yeah, you'll have a fight on your hands.
So it's not just Black River Falls, but I mean
Okay.
I think
It's
the
all of
stories are
So you're saying
Wisconsin.
all of Wisconsin is like
Yeah.
this?
Hmm.
No, I also really like Men on Wire. But
Yeah.
I think it's a very different film. I think that this director knows how to take like film ideas from fiction films and then apply them to documentary in like really good ways. And this one, like I just like the whole package I love. Like I love the visuals, I love the reenactments, I love the just the bland narration. I like the music quite a bit. I believe it was from one of the guys from Velvet Underground.
Oh
Um,
yeah, John Cale. It's great. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just like I do kind of like books and stories about, about things that are stranger than fiction, I guess you could say, like kind of like weirdly, weird things that have happened in history. Like I do stuff like I do like stuff like this. And I have been watching and reading a lot about like spaces in North America that have been like r rural spaces that have been changed or left behind, I guess you could say, by society and what that does to communities.
Mhm.
And so that aspect has always kind of fascinated me as well. And I do have a lot of relatives who are from rural communities, so um, I do try to think about it in that respect as well too. But I agree with Angela. It's quite harsh.
Hmm.
It's like especially with how just it's not that the film is like trying to do this, but like just how women were treated back then, and um, it seems like I don't know if the director was intending to do this, but or the book was intending to do this, but it does seem to kind of criticize the church because a lot of stuff
Mm-hmm.
has religious undertones. It seems like the church was a big part of the community, and it didn't make it better. Yeah, so there's that. It's not explored too much, but I believe the one case that Angela mentioned where the mother drowned her children, I believe she was having like religious ideations, right? Like she was thinking like a
Mhm.
demon was trying to get her or something.
I feel that
Um
there's a lot of undiagnosed mental health issues going on in this community.
yeah, which is weird for such a small community,
Yeah.
I would think.
Well, it's like,
Maybe it's in the water or
But is
something,
it?
but I don't know. I'm from a big city, so I don't know. I'm in Toronto.
I do know, the winters are harsh and the economics of that area were not that great, unless you were maybe a farmer. But a farmer's a hard life, and mining had dried up in Wisconsin by that time. So I mean, used to have lead mining in the southwest there. That's where the nickname Badgers came from the guys who would dig holes and live in them for the lead mining and. Wisconsin was never as big as the iron mining as Minnesota, even though it's
hmm
kind of the belt that goes from upper Minnesota through upper Wisconsin into the UP. But that all the easy iron had been kind of mined out of Wisconsin. Only the tough stuff was left by now, so that's why I thought mostly in Minnesota at this time. So it was not the golden, not the easy life that one would hope for. And I kind of wonder if Wisconsin was a hotbed of socialism in the early 20th century. I kind of wonder if this general thing kind of led to that uh, hotbed because people knew things weren't could be better. You know, uh, the robber baron era didn't work that well for Wisconsin and left people unsupported, and Wisconsin became a kind of a socialist hotbed. A couple of mayors of Milwaukee were socialists, and that's why we have uh, unemployment insurance and stuff like that. Was partly as that legacy. So I don't know if it's related or not, but I feel that Ed Gein is certainly related. So that's some of my thoughts. How
Okay,
about you?
very
Good
How
cool.
about
stuff.
you
Good
now?
stuff.
Yeah, this is my first time seeing it. I had heard about it, but I didn't know quite what it was. And yeah, it's tough to say I enjoyed it. But no, it was definitely a worthwhile experience, maybe as a more tactful way. And it is something where I guess I didn't come away from it feeling as grim or hopeless as some others. But I see it as kind of, yeah, like a series of vignettes, and I feel um that I don't think they state it, but the just this idea of like loneliness is something that just seems to me to like pervade this, because even like people who are married or like in relationships, as we were just talking about the woman who kills her three kids, or just like kind of people sort of going nuts, and I think uh either loneliness or isolation or whatever. And these are things where I see it as here's colorful folklore from around like this. I don't know if Black River Falls is a small town. I'm guessing it's not a very big town, but having grown up in a small town in Michigan, where there are very harsh winters. There are groups or ethnic groups that have been there for like hundreds of years. And like there is definitely dominant religious groups that, yeah, for the most part, get along. We have our fair share of like, hey, here are strange occurrences or potential crimes or people sort of going nuts for whatever reason from that. So there is kind of a cute link to that. But I don't know. I see it as maybe something kind of like an Edward Gorey book where it's macabre, but I don't know if it's something that makes me feel like, I don't know, deeply depressed going through it. It's more, here's some of the more colorful, gruesome or gory instances in like the history of this. And yeah, it's tough to kind of isolate a narrative. I think like the Mary Sweeney thing is nice because it is sort of this thread that comes throughout, like pervades or shows up at different points throughout the film. And it's something too where it's a little bit more lighthearted than, like two kids basically like murdering a farmhand and then going on the lam, um, or some of the other instances that they dwell on. And yeah, I see it as something that is a more kind of like, hey, here's weird curiosity, like the little books that they have, like where it's here's the history of whatever small town that are not quite self-published, but things that are, they don't really have like a single author. It's sort of people submitting different things for that. So I don't know. I may need to watch it again, but
Yeah, I'd like to watch it in a better transfer if they ever do that at some point.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, I
transfer
know.
this to Blu-ray or something.
yeah,
No kidding.
but no, I like the general tone of it, where it doesn't, as weird as it is to say, it doesn't seem like very judgmental on this. It's kind of just like, hey, we're presenting these different instances or these different strange occurrences that come out. And there is like a lot of references to, I guess, a lot of people are Scandinavian, and talking about like, their heritage, or a lot of these tend to be immigrants. So I'm not sure if there is a point to that other than like, hey, here are people who came seeking a better life and clearly didn't find it. But I don't know. It's weird to nail down like a specific tone in this.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of in the same vein as a true crime documentary, but more holistic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's also like, I feel like it doesn't really go into a huge amount of detail in these, or like looking for a lot of motives. Like they will say or report like, hey, here's the thing that was in the news, but I feel like it doesn't try to cover as many or every aspect of it than it would like, say, in a Netflix true crime series. But again, that's like a TV series where, hey, we need to get 10 episodes out of this, so let's leave no stone unturned. But I do just kind of like hearing this in its own words, how it was written up in the press, and that there were like colorful people and sort of back then as
Yeah.
well.
I mean, I do kind of like it's over like a 10, 20-year period.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of things. So it's kind of like a time frame that's a lot larger than most of those true crime documentaries, which kind of just focus on one specific event.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of like a whole range of events.
Yeah, and I feel like even though they talk about like the mines closing down or things like that and the town becoming somewhat impoverished, like I don't feel like they try to tie or dwell too much on like that being the root of it. I feel like it's, there's a lot of different personalities around this area. And I feel like this could be any sort of small town that's been around for, say, a couple hundred years or 150 years or so. And hey, here's something that happened to the town, but I don't know if it would be like, they don't point to it as like being, hey, here's the source of all this evil or of all this unfortunate occurrences.
Yeah, there's no one specific thing that's the cause.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we heard from you, Jim. Have we heard from you yet
Oh yeah,
on this?
I think I was first, wasn't I?
Yeah. No, Robert.
Oh,
First,
Robert, and then me. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I feel
It's unanimous. We love it.
Yeah, no, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
I will say I do pick a nit when they try to pass off the Wisconsin River and the Wisconsin Dells as Black River. I call that as a nit, but that's normal for documentaries, and it's not trying to be exact. It's trying to institute a mood rather than a precise accounting. So I feel like that's part of what this film is doing. It's instituting a mood. But yeah, I liked it quite a bit. So I guess I'm both the guess. I'm going to guess that Cody gave it to me.
But I only me and Robert know why he knows that, because we were chatting about it whilst waiting for Nat one time, and
Oh, sorry.
Well, that and a process of elimination.
oh,
And-
that too, yeah.
And I would compare it to maybe being gifted like a visit to a museum or some place where you could get outside and see what the old world was, like Old World Wisconsin, that kind of a living museum.
Oh yeah, like the house on the rock.
House. Well, that's kind of weird and one of a kind. So, or
Yeah.
just a Dell's boat ride, putting you out in the nature there. So that's what I could get. So let's wrap it up here and figure out who gave what to whom. So I take it you gave me Wisconsin Death Trip, Cody.
Sorry, yes, I did give it to you. You're right. Yeah.
So who gave Analyze This?
Oh, that would be me, because I wanted
Yeah.
to laugh.
So Black Christmas. Who gave Black Christmas?
That was me.
Oh, if that was gonna be Nat, I was gonna lose my mind.
Again, that's the movie I got.
Give it to yourself.
Oops.
Who gave IDI Amin Dada a self-portrait, or General IDI Amin Dada a self-portrait?
That was me.
I knew it.
You love it.
It was pretty good.
And that just leaves She Done Him Wrong. Angela guessed Nat, and it was actually me.
Woo.
Aw,
Oh.
thanks, Robert.
So that kind of wraps up this year. I hope everybody's had a good year. I had fun watching these films.
I sure had fun. And much needed after a very interesting year, to say the least. Yeah.
To say the least.
Agree.
Do we want to say if there's any sort of common theme to these movies? Like we try to wedge into all the films each year we do this?
No, there's no common theme.
These all influence the
Cody's like,
Sopranos.
no.
Well, there's no common theme at all.
We had two documentaries in here, basically.
Sure.
Yeah,
Wow.
we actually
Two
did have
documentaries. Wow, we had three
two
fiction films
non-traditional
too.
four of the films. Well, not occurred on the same year, but we had two films that were rather two pairs that were released the same year, which I think is a first.
Yeah.
That is a first, but they're not at all related to each other.
Is She Done 'Em Wrong the earliest film that we've had on this, Robert?
I
Is
think
there-
Madam Satan was earlier.
Okay.
When is M for Murder?
Dial In for Murder. That's I
Yeah.
think,
That's like in the
50s.
50s.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah,
wow.
that was actually a
I was
3D
thinking of
film.
That
was
just
good.
plain M.
I'm thinking M. Yeah.
Oh, M.
Oh,
yeah,
that's like mid 30s,
31, I think.
Yeah.
31, 32.
or early 30s. Oh my
Wait,
god.
did we do M on this?
No, we haven't done M.
Oh, okay.
Other than that, I don't know. I mean, it's like we got like 2 films with female protagonists.
We got
Yeah, there's
Death.
guys.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
no connections
women.
between any of the movies.
There's
There's
Death.
women in all the movies, right?
They're all movies.
These movies could not be more different from each other.
No, there's a hidden thread.
We'll find it.
Oh,
Well, I wish everybody a more
Merry Christmas
optimistic
and
Yeah,
happy holidays.
and-
2026.
All right,
So,
I know. Let's hope it's
Wait,
a better year.
why are you so bummed out over there?
They all have the letter I
Yeah.
in the titles.
there we go.
good job,
Yeah.
Nat. I knew you'd
Thank
do
you.
it. I knew you'd find it.
I try.
Yeah. And we should really think about this Coen Brothers episode.
Coen Brothers gift
I-
exchange.
Yeah, I'm like,
But only
like,
their comedies.
Well,
sure.
would it have to be limited to like Coen Brothers? Like we couldn't do the tragedy of Macbeth or
That's not a comedy.
Honey, don't.
Honey Don't. Thank you.
All right.
Drive Away Dolls.
Would Crime Wave count?
Is it a comedy?
Yes.
I thought Sam Raimi
He
directed,
directed it, but the Coens wrote it.
Oh.
Like
Yeah.
Bridge of Spies.
Okay.
Sure, why not? I don't think.
Okay.
I don't care.
Yeah, I can be talked into it.
All right, Robert, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Sounds
Next
good.
year, all Coen Brothers films. That makes it much easier.
It
Oh,
does.
for a Secret Santa, yeah, that would be a good Secret Santa. All Coen Brothers films.
That would be a good Secret Santa.
Yeah.
A very Coen Christmas.
Does Barton Fink count as a comedy?
Yes.
You have to add
Yes.
to that
Yeah,
now.
it's mostly comedic.
I
It's
think
just-
all of their films can count as comedies.
No.
Even Llewyn Davis.
No,
Especially
no, no,
Llewyn
no,
Davis.
no, not true.
I
Miller's
think so.
Crossing is very few funny
Miller's
parts.
Crossing is absolutely comedic.
What's the rumpus?
It has funny parts, but it's overall not a comedy.
I think it's a comedy.
No
There's
Country
one
for
funny
Old Men
character.
is hilarious.
It is hilarious. Stephen Root is hilarious in that.
They always have funny parts, but there's
Yeah.
not all. They're not all comedies.
They're all comedies.
Anyhow,
Anyway.
All right.
All right, Robert, shut it
That's
down.
wrap
Shut
up
it down.
this episode. If our listeners have questions or comments, they can email us at skyespodcast@gmail.com. Post on this topic on Facebook, or just, get in contact with us on social media. Also, feel free to share a link on social media. Thanks for listening. We hope you join us later this month for our discussion on Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed. In the meantime, we wish all of our listeners a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Happy holidays.
Bye bye.
Welcome.